Welcome, welcome, Paralympic fans. It is the final round-robin session of the Wheelchair Curling Championships here at the Paralympic Winter Games in Beijing. And we have Latvia, Paralympic debutants in wheelchair curling versus host nation China, who won the gold medal at the previous Paralympics. And I'm sure we'll have a bunch of home fans in this evening. The games involving the Chinese team have been a lot of fun, a lot of cheering, a lot of noise. That's what we like to see. And the team's being welcomed to the ice by the traditional Scottish pipers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this session.
There we are, Latvia doing very well on their Paralympic debut. They have won 4 and lost 5. China have won 7 and lost 2.
Let's give a round of applause to this session's competing
They're the traditional pipers. They especially learned for this event. And there's little Shui Ronron. That's our mascot. She loves curling. She's been here every day.
On sheet A,
and here are the teams we'll be watching
Republic of China
today. That's lead thrower and vice skip for Latvia, Ojars Bridis. Second thrower, Agris Lasmans.
On sheet C,
third thrower and skip, Paulina Roshkova. Fourth thrower for Latvia, Sergei Zdachenko. They will be playing the home nation, China. Lead thrower for China, Yan Zhou. Second thrower for China, Zhang Lingliang. Third and vice skip for China, Chen Yanxin. Fourth thrower and skip for China, the familiar figure of Wang Haitao. Started off with 11 teams in this round robin. Some teams already finished. And this is the concluding round. There we are. You can see some teams already played 10 games. And in fact, the top 4 teams, they are already qualified for semi-finals. The 4 places already taken, but in which order? That's what we'll be deciding in this final round robin match this evening. There's how Latvia done. Really super stuff in their very first Paralympic Winter Games for their wheelchair curlers. They've really been blazing a path, this Latvian team. We'll talk more about them. And knocking off a couple of big teams. They got a win against Sweden, who are currently joint top of the table. And Slovakia, who also have qualified for semi-finals. And there's how China have been doing. Get a couple of losses first of all, but Canada and Sweden, they're also qualified for semi-finals, but China picking themselves up and playing very strongly since winning all 7 games since then. China already qualified for semi-finals, but in which spot? This game and this session will decide. China wearing the white uniforms, they'll be throwing yellow stones. Latvia wearing the darker uniforms, they'll be throwing red stones. There are various different scenarios. All 3 games out there can influence the final standings for teams 1 to 4. And Latvia not able to qualify for semi-finals, but they can solidify 6th place if they would win this game. And that would be a very impressive start to their Paralympic winter career. First time for a Latvian team, and in fact, the 5 from Latvia, 4 out on the ice and 1 alternate player. They are the Latvian team at this Paralympic Winter Games, just the 5 of them, and representing Latvia really strongly all this week. So it is Latvia who will start us off. Ojars Bridis in the first end here. It is China who have last stone in this first end, last stone advantage. China very interested in winning this game. They are in with a chance of qualifying in first slot, top of the table. And if they win here, then the lowest they can finish is second place. So China already qualified for semi-finals, but they'll be very interested in still winning this game. I'm sure both teams will be very focused on playing their best out there. It is a long way from start to finish, from the start of the competition to get to the medal games in curling. You have to be on form and at your best for about 30 hours until you get to the conclusion of a medal match. This is the 10th game for all of these teams. Latvia's Paralympic adventure will be finished after this game. China, they will still have semi-finals and medal matches to go. And as we often see, both in wheelchair curling and non, not unusual that we get a fairly conservative start to the game. The team's just exchanging hits, not keeping stones in play. Neither team wanting to set up a big end and maybe lose a bunch of points here in this first end. Loads to play for in this final session of the round robin section of the wheelchair curling competition. First throw in this final round robin match for second thrower Agris Lasmans. And also exchanging hits there. It always feels good to just get a couple of clean hits under your belt, just settle any nerves. If this is your first time watching the Chinese team, viewers, then you're in for a fun time. The Chinese team often really rolling their stones down the ice. And the home crowd here, no foreign fans at this Paralympic Winter Games, but the home crowd here really appreciating all the fun and positive energy that their team brings to the ice. And that's a mistake from Latvia. That really plays into China's hands a little bit. Although, luckily for Latvia, China not interested in playing aggressively in this first end. They're just going to remove that stone. Second throw for China, Zhang Mingliang preparing to throw. Teammate Chen Yanxin behind him. Just holding onto the wheels for stability, balance, and no trouble for Zhang Mingliang. Cleanly removing that guard. There is though one stone still in play. That yellow out front that Latvia can use. This makes sense for Latvia. It's China who have last stone. So may as well try to use that stone out front, try to force China into slightly different strategy, or maybe even try to get a mistake out of China. First throw of the game then for the flag bearer at the opening ceremony for Latvia. That's Polina Rajkova. Polina Rajkova really blazing a trail for Latvia. She's not only the flag bearer in the opening ceremony, she is the first woman to represent Latvia in any sport at the Paralympic Winter Games. And she has also represented Latvia at summer Paralympic Games in wheelchair fencing. So she's really blazing a trail for women in sport and women in Latvia. And again, China not interested in using those stones out front. Interesting from them. They're really determined to keep things clean in this first end. Depending on how this result goes and how other results go, China could end up in any of place 1, 2, 3, or 4 at the conclusion of this round. But if China win this game, then the worst they can finish is second place. And Latvia, again, I think just dropping a little bit short. I think they were trying to go around that Chinese stone there. But better short than long. A stone that's gone all the way through the house. That's the rings. That's already out of play. Nothing you can do with that. Whereas a stone that's just in front, that's still a stone you can use either as a guard or to punch forward later.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
Big weight coming from Chen Yanxin. Oh my goodness. And he's found the gap between the two stones there. And yeah, now surely we will see Latvia using that mistake. A very uncharacteristic mistake. Chen Yanxin, he's been really the engine room for this Chinese team all week. He's not been missing much at all. And Latvia really want to capitalise on that mistake. They will not get many mistakes out of, particularly Chen Yanxin. Big opportunity for Sergei Zyachenko. Fourth thrower today. Latvians been mixing it up a little bit with their lineup. And that's a handy start from the young man. Really nice stuff from him. That looks pretty much perfect there. You can see it curling in that clockwise direction. And absolutely covering the pin there. China still interested in keeping things clean. They want to remove that guard. They're just ignoring that stone just played by Zyachenko. And first throw of the game for Wang Haitao. It was he and Chen Yanxin. They were part of the gold medal winning team in 2018 in Pyeongchang and showing good form in that first throw in this game. Just catching the red and his own yellow and just springing both of those stones out of play. Super start for Wang Haitao.
Не, не надо заезжать. Ну, пела это цапнуть.
Latvia, though, still with that lovely stone from Sergei Zyachenko. His first throw right in the middle. And he now has a chance to put a guard on top of that. Just try and block access for China, forced China to play a more difficult shot with their final stone.
Хорошо, Сереж, нормально. Это не такая плохая. Ты на 3 сессии.
Еще.
Went on a little bit, but I think that's just going to stop nicely.
Хорошо.
That is nice. Good stones there from Sergei Dyachenko. He also plays wheelchair basketball. He's quite the sporty one. As does Arglis Lasman, so very sporty Latvian team out there. We saw a really nice double takeout from Wang Haitao with his first stone, and he needs something similar with his second. 2 Latvian stones lying. Really nice end from Latvia there. It's China with a last stone, and it's really up to them to dictate whether the end becomes aggressive or defensive. And Latvia just taking advantage of that uncharacteristic miss from Jansin.
Go!
And getting a reward for it. China just managing to remove just one of those stones. You could hear the Chinese team urging the stone to, they were calling hard, as if mentally sweeping the stone there. But the stone just over curling for them, and that is a steal to Latvia. They score without last stone, and overall that's 1-0 to Latvia. They lead China after the first end. Early days in our final round-robin matchup, but that was a really nicely done steal for Latvia in the first end. They lead China 1-0. It will be Latvia who again start us off in the second end. China retain last stone. And Latvia could be wise to get on with this. Their clock is ticking down. That's the red clock at the top of the scoreboard behind the players there. Both the teams have 38 minutes of thinking time to complete 8 ends of play. You see, while they're preparing to play, while they're deciding which shot to go for, their clock is ticking down. And then once Oyars Bridis, once he releases this stone, there you can see just at the background, the clock stops. Once the stone comes to rest, then the clock for China will start ticking down. And that's a bright start from Oyars Bridis. Latvia again without last stone in the second end. They stole a point in the first end. So they again do not have last stone in the second end. And we will see Latvia playing towards the centre. The more Latvian stones there are in the centre, the harder it is for China to score points. That's a decent reply from Yan Zhou. The Chinese lead, she's had a very consistent week for China.
Šitas bija 2-9, ja? Ļoti gribētos šeit, bet pielaide piebraukt. Nē, tu no šītas puses viņus redzi? Viņu redzi? Mēs ejam klāt, mēs ejam šeit, var šeit. Viņi trāpīja kaut kur te. Spēks 2-9 viņiem bija.
For China.
Es lieku bišķiņ platāk.
Their lead thrower, a real big part of why China are sitting joint top of the table just now. She's been playing very consistently, and that's what Latvia are going to need if they want to try to grab this game, win against China. They're going to need the same kind of consistency from Oyas Bridis. And he had a very nice first shot.
Well, quiet. Yep.
Ideāli.
And that's a good reply from him. That's just neutralised that stone from China. There is the Latvian coach, Arnis Videmanis. Sorry, Vaidemanis. And interesting that China now playing on the anti-clockwise handle. Ignoring the clockwise handle they played before, and it working for them. There's the Chinese coach, Yu Qingxuang. She knows a thing or two. She has played for a long time with the Chinese ladies rink.
3-3, pielaida 3-0, ja?
Qingxuang, the coach of the Chinese team 4 years ago in Pyeongchang when they ended up with a gold medal against
Riktīgi platāk.
Norway that time.
Прям ļoti platāk.
Да, концерт гасится очень сильно.
And you can see that stone rotating quite a lot from Agris Lasmans.
Spēks jau labs.
The more rotation you put on the stone, the straighter it will stay, the less it will curl. You can see that was just the right weight. That means how far the stone travels. A heavy stone travels fast and a long way. A light stone travels a bit slower and not so far. So we would say the weight of that stone was really nice. That's exactly how far the stone should travel, but just putting that extra spin on it and not quite finding the curl there. So that stone sticking out a bit. But this makes sense from China. This may look like a strange idea. You can see it's the Chinese stone, the yellow one, just tucked in the middle of that little pile of stones there. It's the Chinese one that's closest to the middle. And that may look like a very strange idea to remove a stone that was right in front of it. And the reason China do that is because they're really thinking through all 8 stones. They're not only thinking stone to stone, they're thinking through all 8 stones to the conclusion of the end. It's China who have last stone advantage. And with that stone out front, that it looks like Latvia wish to replace, with that stone out front, that stone helps Latvia more than it's helping China. Because anything in the centre makes it harder for China to get 2 of their stones in there. And we'll come back to why it's important to try to score 2. There's a big, big difference between scoring 1 point with last stone and scoring 2 or more. And that's a bit of a half shot there from China. They did not cleanly remove that guard. They didn't peel it. That's what we call a peel, and that means you not only remove the opposition stone, but you roll out yourself, or your target stone, let's say. You don't only remove your target stone, but you roll away yourself. You're peeling everything away. And you can see from that wider angle, that yellow, right at the top of your screen.
Jā, tad bišķiņ šaurāk, Koici. Jā.
And what we'll see now is the danger, or what Latvia are hoping, is we'll maybe see the danger of that stone hanging around not quite. Paulina Rozhkova not quite finding her weight just now. Her underthrowing her stones a little bit at the moment. So China getting away with that half shot before. And now China do have the chance to swing a second stone in towards the centre. But typically, at this level, you won't get very many mistakes. And typically, even if China, as we saw, they have a stone at the moment closest to the centre, relatively straightforward for Latvia to play a stone right on top of that. And then if you still have those guards out front, it becomes very difficult for China to get a second shot. But that was a mistake from Latvia, leaving that red stone short like that. And they are about to be punished for it. China do now lie 2. Thanks to Chen Yanxin. And there you can hear the crowd in the background having a super time cheering their team. The Chinese teams in the men's and the ladies competition in Olympics a couple of weeks ago, and also in the mixed doubles. Doing well, but not qualifying for semi-finals. So this Chinese team already giving the fans a lot to cheer about. And that's another miss from Latvia. Yeah, a little bit of a murmur going around the crowd there. That was an important one. As we said, the 4 semi-final places, the participants already decided. China is one of them. China guaranteed a place in the semi-finals. Therefore, guaranteed at least a place in the bronze medal game, if not in the gold medal game. That's nice again from Chen Yanxin. He maybe wanted it right on top of the stone he played before, but as you can see, that's blocking now. Or is it blocking more than it was, the path towards the centre. Yeah, if Latvia want to get a stone right on the pin there, as we saw this man, Sergei Shevchenko, we saw him do that in the first end, but they're going to have to go a little bit wider now. That stone of Yanxin just blocking the path that they have been coming down, so having to go a little bit wider with this one, and this needs to be good from Sergei Shevchenko, otherwise Latvia could be looking at a basket full in the second end. Oh, he has got the line.
Отлично. Хорошо.
Oh, what a pity. Great effort from Shevchenko.
Да-да-да, это ставлю. Линия хорошая, сила.
There we can see that just sneaking around the guard. The line was just perfect. And that just needed, a metre or so less weight. And that would have been perfect. He would have landed it right on the pin again. So Latvia could be in a bit of trouble here after Wang Haitao comes to throw. Sticking to that anti-clockwise direction. You can see loads of space still to get another stone in there. Teammate Zhang Mingliang holding the wheels behind the thrower for stability, make sure he doesn't slip. And we could see Yan Zhou. She is holding the stopwatch. She'll be timing how long the stone takes to go from one end to the other. And that's not quite what they were looking for. I think they really wanted to get another stone in towards the centre there. And now there is still room for Latvia to use that anti-clockwise curl. I think if Sergei Dichenko, if he plays more or less the same stone, but on a slightly wider path,
Линия
there might
хорошая.
just about be space for him to beat everything.
Значит, он должен уже начать гаситься.
Три 8. Линия хорошая.
But the guard's going to do its job. And it is China who are lying 2 already. Those 2 yellows closest to the centre. And they have 1 stone still to come. And big opportunity here for China to score 3 points potentially. They're already scoring 2. And they have another stone to come. And they have a couple of choices. They could stick to that anti-clockwise handle. Or they could come up the clockwise handle. I think there's a decent gap. I think Yanxin, just having a look at that. I know, but that yellow just over the hog line, that was just out of our picture. That potentially makes that a bit harder. And so it will make sense to stick to this anti-clockwise path. China then, last stone in the second end. They have capitalised on a couple of mistakes from Latvia. Some good shooting, particularly from Chen Yanxin. And you hear the players calling whoa. They're trying to encourage the stone to slow down a bit, but that's not going to slow down enough. But nevertheless, a big score of 2 for China in the second end. They'll be very pleased with that. Here's our local fans enjoying cheering the home team. And confirmation there. Score of 2 to China in that second end. That makes the overall score China leading Latvia 2 shots to 1. There's our overall summary of the game statistics. Early days yet. China just a little bit ahead maybe overall from Latvia, but pretty close so far. But China taking advantage of a couple of loose shots from Latvia in that second end to set up a score of 2. And China leading Latvia 2 shots to 1 going into the third end. For the first time in the game then, it will be Latvia who has last stone advantage in the third end. And it is Yan Zhou from China who will lead us off. And we saw China being a little bit unorthodox with tactics in the second end. They decided to play towards the centre, and because there were a couple of misses from Latvia, that worked out for them. But here in the third end, it is Latvia who now have the last stone advantage, and we will see China gladly playing towards the centre, just trying to get to that all-important centre space before Latvia. And good start again from Yan Zhou.
Whoa. Whoa. Labi.
9-8 malacis.
And Latvia just throwing the defensive shot there. 2 obvious options in that situation. If your opposition, if they throw a stone straight into the house, into the rings, you can either throw a guard in reply if you want to try to steer the end in an aggressive way to keep stones in play, or you can simply remove that stone, as Latvia did, if you're thinking more defensively.
Go! 接着打，行 ，Go hurry！ 行。
Yan Zhou continuing her very strong play for China. Lead position, doesn't throw a take out that often. But no trouble for her to switch it up and throw the bigger weight. Oyar's breed is having no trouble at the moment keeping up with Yan Zhou. Both players throwing very accurately so far.
Молодец. Ладно.
Now, I'm not sure if Latvia called the guard there or whether they actually wanted to play more into the house, but that's a stone they can use out front there. That stone still protected by free guard zone.
Yeah. 力量。行行行，再来点儿。可以啊。
Free guard zone is the area in front of the rings, between the rings and the hog line. So all of that white space in front of the rings is free guard zone, and you cannot remove an opposition stone from play if it's in that free guard zone area until 5 stones have been played. So China not allowed to remove that Latvian stone yet, but now we have played 5 stones and free guard zone is over. And this is wise play from China. What they did there, the objective for that stone, nice throw from Zhang Mingliang. He landed that Chinese stone on the other side of the house so that if Latvia wanted to hit that stone, it's a long way to roll over and behind the guard. But Latvia doing the smart thing here, they're just ignoring that Chinese stone for now and making sure they use that corner guard that they threw. That's better from Chris Lasmans. Slightly strange that Latvia didn't throw the corner guard with their first stone. And they could have maybe had 2 corner guards in play rather than just 1. China think they can see enough of that stone. It's not fully hidden behind that guard. And they can. But as long as Latvia keep attacking around that corner guard, that will keep China busy over on that side of the sheet. So this is sensible. This is good tactics from Latvia. Let's make sure we use that corner guard. Sometimes you see teams throwing a corner guard, and I know there isn't really a corner of a ring, it's more guarding the corner of the sheet of ice. You see teams throwing a corner guard, but then getting sucked into playing towards the centre and never really bringing that corner guard into play. And that is not going to have the beans to get all the way around, but a double guard is fine. No use through the back of that shot. It's no use if it's too heavy, if it runs all the way through the house. A second guard is a much better plan B. First throw in the third end for Chen Yanxin. And that's a mistake from him.
好嘞。
He does remove the Latvian guard, but hangs around himself.
没事啊。
And that means that Latvia still has a double guard on the left of the centre there that they can use to come round. So big opportunity for Latvia here to try to get a stone safely in behind those two guards. Now, we spoke about why there is a big difference between scoring 1 point if you have last stone and scoring 2 or more points. Now, why would that be? Well, the reason is, if you have last stone, then you have one chance with your one last stone to score 1 point. And at this level, you won't have too many mistakes. And to score 1 point with your one last stone at this level is relatively straightforward. We can think of it as almost the default. So if you would score 1 point with your one last stone, and then last stone would pass to the opposition, and they would score 1 point with their one last stone, etc., for 8 ends, then you will end up with a score of 4 each. So if you want to win the game, it is not enough to only score 1 point every time you have last stone. You have to do better than that. So at least sometimes you have to score more than 1 when you have last stone. Gosh, I'm wondering if there's a big patch of Velcro on the ice to the left of the centre line there. Everybody getting stuck ahead of the rings. Nobody quite finding the right weight to get in behind all those guards. And Latvia will have another chance to bury a stone in behind there. In this third end, it is Latvia who have last stone. But again, getting caught in the mud out front there. Nobody really finding a way around on that clockwise handle. And Latvia with last stone advantage in this third end. That's why they would be working hard to try to get 2 points, and the end is set up for them, but they're not really taking advantage of that just now. And the companion tactic to remember as well. So tactic number 1 is that if you want to win a game, it is not enough to only score 1 point if you have last stone. At least sometimes you have to score more than that. Or you have to assume you will have to score more than that. That's tactic number 1. And companion tactic to that is that you can only ever score more than 1 point if your opposition makes a mistake. If your opposition play 8 stones out of 8, then you will only ever be able to score 1. And what you are trying to do then is make the shots difficult for your opposition. Try to get mistakes from your opposition. Then you can capitalise on that and maybe set up a chance for 2. So if you're just learning curling, or maybe if you play the club and you want to start playing skip and learning a bit tactics, those two are tactics 101. Those two go hand in hand, and they are tactics 101.
Сереж, 3-0, 3-0, 3-3.
Nobody really grabbing this end, really doing anything decisive in this end. 3 stones to come. 2 for Latvia. 1 for China.
Ой, це iedomājies izbrauks. Nu, es gribu tagad izbrauks. Oi. 1-7.
That's a pity for Jachenko. He maybe was cognizant of the many stones that have come short, have pulled up short on that path. And maybe he was saying to himself, okay, I don't want this one to be short, but ended up overcorrecting. Last stone of the third end for China. And they definitely have a good chance to make Latvia's life difficult here. Already 2 Chinese stones in play in the circles in the house. And Wang Haitao, he will hope to finally find that pass towards the centre. Which he does. That's a great setup for China. So that path that Latvia were looking at before, on the clockwise handle, that path now blocked thanks to that nice stone from Wang Haitao. It could be that the Latvia indeed are just doing some damage limitation here. Maybe the easiest thing is to just give up 1 point, but make sure it's no more than 1, and then regroup a bit for the 4th end. Important shot here from Sergei Stachenko. He's facing 3 Chinese counters.
Whoa.
Хороший.
Whoa. Whoa.
Да есть.
Yep.
And he's done that really nicely. In fact, is that even 1 red? What do you think, viewer? Which one's closer? It could be. We'll see the umpire coming to measure. Yep. Chen Yanxin making the universal signal for "Can we have a measure, please?" which is raising your finger and wiggling it in a circle. And that could end up being an extra special shot from Sergei Stachenko. Really important throw from him. Pretty hard to tell from where we are. I feel like it could be red. So here comes the measure. There is a little pin that will drop from the arm of the measure. Here it comes. And that pin is attached to a pressure gauge. So the umpire, she will make sure the pin just touches the stone.
Behind me, if you want to look, behind me.
And that pin will just gently push the pressure gauge around. Let's see what it says. So that goes round to about 2 o'clock. And then the yellow one, oh wow, that goes round to about 5 o'clock, so it is a yellow.
Yes.
One yellow.
Yes.
The umpire pointing to the yellow to confirm. So well played in from China there, but Latvia doing well with that last stone from Stachenko to make sure it wasn't any worse. Our home fans very happy with that one. That is a steal for China. Bringing the overall score, China leading Latvia 3 shots to 1 after 3 ends. There's our overall game summary. China outshooting Latvia at the moment a little bit. And that's reflected in the score. China doing a lot of good shots in that third end and being rewarded with a steal, a score, even though they didn't have last stone. They steal 1 point, bringing the overall score 3-1 for China.
Whoa. 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 12秒7啊，
没问题。
好。哦。
行。
That's another bright start from Yanzhou from China. It's Latvia again with last stone advantage in this fourth end.
Es jau vispār uzliktu sargu.
Tad liet. Tad liet.
Ar nelielu nobiedi, ja?
In the third end, we saw Latvia.
Nē, mums vajag tā, lai viņi mēģinātu šeit iebraukt. Tur nedaudz.
We saw Latvia switching up their tactics a bit. They did a takeout with their first stone and then threw up a guard. And that's good to see if they've learned from that to really stick to one or the other. What does Latvia want to do in this fourth end? They really want to try to score 2 shots here. They're 2 shots behind. And this is a better idea from Latvia. Let's get some guards in play. Let's make full use of that free guard zone. You can throw 2 Latvian stones there before China is allowed to remove them. So that's a bright start from Latvia, from Ojārs Brītis. Yanzhou continuing her relentless dedication to draw weight. She and Zhang Mingliang in their first Paralympic Winter Games here, but gosh, what a start they've had.
13啊，哇哇。哦。行。
And another nice throw from her.
Braucamais sarga.
Both of her stones going behind T-line. So definitely space for Latvia to follow those stones and try to make use of that guard that Ojārs Brītis threw with his first stone. As you can see, he and Yanzhou having a real good battle at lead position. Both of them throwing very nicely.
Whoa. Whoa. Давай.
Neaizies.
And that's fine there. It sounded like Latvia maybe wanted that stone in the house, in the rings, but we're still in free guard zone territory at the moment. We've only thrown 4 stones. China not allowed to remove either of those Latvian stones from play at the moment. So Latvia setting up quite nicely in this end. Second thrower, Zhang Mingliang, also in his first Paralympic Winter Games. Also having a fine debut. The team calling hard, as if mentally trying to sweep that stone. And that's come up a little bit short, but it is smack on that centre line, and that's a nice result for China. Dragging the play towards the centre. Remember, that suits China. They don't have last stone in this fourth end.
3-0, 3-3.
And let's see what happens. Latvia looks like they're deciding to use that stone from China. Try to get to the centre first. But this tactic can be risky. Let's see. Gregory Slavsmans, again, he wanted that a little bit shorter.
0-3-0-6.
But important to get a Latvian stone in there. I think it looks like China on the right of the centre line. Looks like that one's a little bit closer. And this is the risk with Latvia playing towards the centre. Even if that stone from Latvia had been a bit closer, China, they will simply chase them in. China don't mind if Latvia score one in this end. That's another good tactic to learn if you're learning curling, or if you want to start playing skip. There are many occasions in curling where -1 is a good shot, and at this rate it could be more than that, but just neutralising that Latvian stone there. Boop. Back it goes, but luckily for Latvia, everything's still behind T-line. The T-line's the horizontal line where Paulina Roshkova's brush is indicating the ice. And because all the stones are behind T-line, that gives still space for somebody to get a stone in ahead of T-line, and that's the important area. But this is coming in chunky as well. This is again behind T-line, everything ending up running a little bit too long there. Those stones a bit too heavy. China with opportunities to make Latvia's life difficult here, but not quite shutting the door on them. And Chen Yanxin's numbers lower than I would have thought. He's not having a terrible game at all for China. This looks better. That's exactly where they wanted it. Advantage China in this fourth end. This is the danger of Latvia getting sucked into playing towards the centre. Maybe a little bit tactical naivety from Latvia. The danger with playing towards the centre is that if China get there first, and now they have, then really difficult for Latvia to do something about this. That's why you will typically see teams with last stone. You will typically see them instead playing away from the centre. Getting a couple of stones safely towards the sides of the rings, and then it's turning their attention to the centre at the moment. Very tough for Latvia to do much about this. Latvia with last stone in this fourth end. They have work to do to score 1 point here, never mind 2. But if you're China, everything is coming up peachy. Very nice situation they have. They have 1, 2, 3 Chinese shots lying and a guard out front. And Paulina Roshkova struggling to find her game out there today. The Latvian team are going to need more from her if they're going to overcome China here. That doesn't really help her too much. Maybe a little bit easier to use that stone. Here it comes. It knocks out one of the Chinese stones. Maybe a slightly kinder angle that she could use with her last stone. With her second stone, rather. But China will be eager to just remove that. Don't leave any stones angled that Latvia could use. There is a big screen up on the wall behind the athletes. That's why you'll see them quite often turning around and looking up. There's a big screen that shows the overhead of the playing end. Big throw from Yanxin. That's good stuff from him.
7秒8。
He always looks slightly quizzical after throwing. Typically a very reliable thrower for this Chinese team.
Помаленьку, Сарга.
There is possibly a way in here for Latvia. But as we said, a score of -1 here for China, i.e. a score of 1 point to Latvia. That's fine for China. Then at half-time, they would be +1 point ahead. And they would have last stone. So that was roughly the right path, but I think that stone a little bit too heavy. We needed this Latvian stone to hang around as well, and you can see it's going on at quite a lick, that stone. And now China have an opportunity to just block that path completely. Unlucky combination or unfortunate series of events for Latvia. A little bit tactical naivety, and they're not quite nailing their shots here. And this fourth end, everything coming up China so far. First throw in the fourth end for Huang Haitao. He's a fine servant of Chinese curling, that man. He has represented China. That's even better. Yeah, he's completely blocked that line to the centre now. And Latvia in a fine pickle. With that man on your screen, Huang Haitao, he has represented China ever since they qualified. The first time China was represented here at wheelchair curling was in 2014. Where Huang Haitao, with a different team, he was representing China, and they lost the bronze medal game to Britain. But more than making up for it in 2018, they won the gold medal against Norway. Huang Haitao, and by that time, Chen Yanxin had joined the team. And this Chinese team, in between Paralympic Winter Games, they have been world champion fully twice and making semi-final in between. So a very tall order to get the better of this Chinese team, and I think it's going from bad to worse out there for Latvia. The only saving grace is that now that anti-clockwise side of the sheet, the left of the sheet of ice as we're looking at it, is now opened up. But maybe not for long. Tough game for Latvia to finish on their Paralympic Winter Games campaign. But whatever happens out here, a lot to be proud of for Latvia. They've already got 4 wins at Paralympic level. In the very first time that Latvia have been represented in wheelchair curling. Those 5 athletes in the team, the 4 on the ice and their alternate, they are the Latvian team at this Paralympic Winter Games. And Paulina Roshkova, the first woman to represent Latvia in any sport at Paralympic Winter Games. So plenty of achievements for this Latvian team to celebrate. But not taking their foot off the gas at the moment, this Chinese team.
Сереж, ты этот видишь? Прям вообще?
China line 1, 2, 3. Important psychologically
Нет, так тогда лучше.
how we wrap up this end before half-time. It's an 8-end game, and we are in the last stone of the fourth end.
Давай.
Есть вариант,
Погоди.
нет варианта.
Здесь просто с этой стороны можно заехать, ну типа на этот наезжать. Можно с этой, конец дома. Можно красный просто сюда толкать. Бить я не хочу, потому что он идет на наш, и нас будет дальше.
Я
то
думаю,
есть у них
это лучше так заезжать.
Красный не хочешь толкать?
Не, мне кажется, это
Хорошо, давай.
Ko viņš darīs?
тебя, блядь,
Brauksim.
там очень...
Bet tur jau viņš jau krīt tik daudz, tur ir diezgan liela spēka.
Sergei Shevchenko
Oh,
been
давай.
facing
Нас я
quite a
ушел,
few
да.
difficult shots already,
Мы уже...
and life not getting any easier for him.
Viņam tā ātri jānāk, ir taisni
Подожди.
diezgan.
Ну потому что
Еще
если мы
лазить в
сюда...
то.
Хорошо, а если мы сюда? Если мы
Вот это.
попадаем сюда,
Un
он
nu, viņš
идет
aiziet uz
сюда,
to sarkano.
этот идет сюда, этот
Kur
вот
nekur
туда.
neiet tуда.
Ну
viņš iet
ладно,
uz
хорошо,
sarkano.
тогда идем просто сюда.
Viņam ir stipri
Давай
jāsit.
сюда. А давай сюда. Или от этого сюда.
Viņš bišķīt paiet garām tam un trāpa un šitā atliek.
Can be
Vai nu
important
jāstum
to
tas sarkanais ir virsū un viss.
Discuss the shot, make sure you're aligned, make sure
сюда
you've
просто
considered the
заехать не
options,
можем?
Kur?
Сюда. Просто сюда.
but it
Ну,
typically
исключить тот и этот.
doesn't help to over-discuss things. You can lose the rhythm
Ну,
of
я
it
же говорю,
for
что
playing.
mums arī izskatās.
So,
Сереж,
do
давай
make
тот
sure-
толкнем.
You're going for the right shot, but
Сила 2-0.
do in fact get on with it.
Да.
Tad viņš iet pa šķirbu cauri.
Nē,
Vai tā, lai
нeiет.
iet
Ну,
uz
видишь,
zemi?
но шейнес нeiет по штирбу цаури.
Kur viņš iet?
Сюда, и нам даже сюда годится, потому что
Tur
нам хотя бы
jābūt
на
to
это.
trešo, ne?
Kas? Ну смотри, нам годится сюда и годится сюда. Потому что да, он на этот идет.
That stone she's looking at, that could be their best
Сереж,
option.
две опции. Сюда
No real
и
risk to
сюда.
trying this shot.
Сила 12. 12 с половиной.
Platāk jau. Viņš nokritīs.
Another big shot then for Sergei Shevchenko.
Ой, узко, да.
Tad to šķirbi izies cauri, būs labi beigās.
Neizies.
Не.
He was originally throwing third stones in this team,
Sorry.
and a big step up to then throw fourth, and oh,
Trīs. Tas ir trīs, Ojers.
very difficult
Yes,
path
yes.
he was trying to follow there.
Tā. Tas ir trīnieks.
And that's a big score of 3 just before half-time for China. This game starting to get away from Latvia.
Stūmi sarkano iet.
Confirmation on the scoreboard there. A big steal of 3 points even without last stone. And it is China now leading Latvia 6 shots to 1 at half-time. Here's the story of the game in numbers for Latvia. You can see Ojas Britis setting up the ends well at lead, but the team really struggling to then capitalise on that. Let's hope their coach has some encouragement and positive energy to offer at half-time. And there's the story for China in numbers. Again, Yanzhou at lead, setting up the ends really nicely. She's even improving on her tournament average. The rest of the team not quite so strong, but Latvia really struggling with their game, and China capitalising on that so far.
我嗓子咳嗽别一会儿我罐儿。
啊，不是，你就多喝点水。你那嗓子现在喊的比较那啥，比较干哑。行，记住。还是找力量，因为有的时候可能你还面临着往里投，但是更多时候呢，我觉得现在打的时候咱们也要注意，因为肯定。
Here's our overall game summary. We can see China starting to get a little bit away from Latvia there. Latvia struggling a little bit there. Making a few mistakes with tactics as well as execution.
那个张文亮那个战胜之后，那个对方不是选了吗？如果他没选成的话，你可以把上面那个红的走掉。
Ko?
Dai viņu.
Kādas 4 pēdas? Šitā te blakus akmenim stāvēs.
4 pēdas lika, un es viņus vēl plātāk. Tāpēc arī to arī nocēlu.
There's our overall game summary then. We are halfway through the final round-robin session in the wheelchair curling event. But everything turning up China in our featured game here. We're watching Latvia play China. China are already qualified for semi-final. The 4 countries participating in semi-finals already decided. China is one of them. But places 1 to 4 still up for grabs. And Latvia, they can still finish 6th in their first Paralympic Winter Games wheelchair curling event. If they can find a way to grab this game back from China. They don't want to let China get any further ahead of them here.
来吧，准备。没事，来。1、2、3。投之前再多想2秒没有关系啊，因为时间也够啊。加油！
你去吧，你去，
我去上厕所了。
对呀。
Oir, stāva ir šeit.
So the second half already started. China's time ticking down there. The ever-reliable Yanzhou ready to throw. And they do have a little bit of spare time, but we saw Korea in one of the rounds. They were just down to a couple of seconds for their final throw, so you do want to be careful with your time clock. You don't want to lose track of time, literally. And we're underway now in the 5th end. The second half of final round-robin encounter. We are on day 6 at the Paralympic Winter Games. This is session number 17 in the round-robin. We started with 11 teams. 4 teams are already qualified for semi-finals.
Jā, uz to pusi.
But who will play who? That is still up for grabs. We know which teams will take up the 4 places for top of the table for the semi-finals. Not yet clear which teams will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Everything still to come based on the results of this session out there. So Latvia, they are 5 shots behind. They need to be aggressive from here. And this weight is okay. They do have a guard. It is protected by free guard zone. But I'm not sure if Latvia are taking the right ice here, because their guards are ending up really more towards the centre, and that's not going to help them. They're making their own lives a little bit difficult by playing towards the centre there. Whereas Yanjo, she's quite happy to play towards the centre. She's overthrowing slightly in this game. Her stones landing behind T-line. But they are in the centre line, and that can potentially frustrate Latvia. We know this Latvian team has plenty of big achievements already, and another one is that Latvia have not had any Paralympians in the Paralympic Winter Games since 2006. These are the first representatives in any sport for Latvia at Paralympic Winter Games since 2006. And it's a tough ask for them to beat last time's gold medalists out there. That was the Chinese team who won gold in 2018. But Latvia already won 4 out of their round-robin matches. And of course, China keeping their foot to the floor out there. And important for Latvia is to really focus on their game. That's what's going to get them back into this game, is good draw weight, tee weight. So stones landing in the house, stones landing in the tee line. That's what's going to get them back into this game.
Spēks 9-5. Oi!
And actually, that's not such a bad shot for Latvia. That guard was too close to the centre line. It really wasn't helping them. Not sure if Latvia are just miscalling the ice or whether the stones are catching them out a bit with how much they're curling, but Latvia getting caught up playing towards the centre when they have last stone, and they're really curling themselves into a bit of a dead end sometimes. So they want to reset. China, on the other hand, stones on the centre line helping them.
Tādu pašu spēku var mest.
And the body language of Latvia looking a little bit defeated or deflated out there already, and that's a pity. China definitely starting to get away from them, but definitely not lost. We're only halfway through. And Latvia need to focus on their shots, focus on their game. They need to get draw weight. That means stones that will land in the house, that will draw to the house. It definitely can be dispiriting when you're up against a strong team like this. And this Chinese team, there are a few stronger. It can be dispiriting. It can feel like whatever you play, China will neutralize it. A lot of times that's the case, but not always, and China have to make a mistake sometime. All you can do is set yourself up. Try to make it hard for China, try to get them to make a mistake. But Latvia struggling a little bit to set up their ends just now, and allowing China somewhat to dictate what's going on, and China making full use of that. They are really stamping their authority on this game. And 1, 2, 3, 4 Chinese stones lined up all on the center line. So this is very nice. If you're a China fan, they'll be taking good confidence at the moment from this into the semi-final rounds. But it would be really good for Latvia to finish their first Paralympic Winter Games representation of wheelchair curling. It would be good for them to finish strong and feel really proud of the many big achievements for Latvian sport, for Latvian Paralympic sport, for women's sport in Latvia. A lot to celebrate for the Latvian team. So they want to stay focused, focus on their game. This game not beyond them yet, but they do need to start grabbing a couple of points back. Yanjo urging that stone as far as it will go. And unfortunately, when you're a few shots behind like Latvia are in this game, you're having to go for those more difficult shots. You're not getting to play easy shots like just removing a stone from play. You're really having to go for some difficult stuff out there. That's a bit better from Paulina Rožkova. That making it around that guard by a couple of molecules. Gets all the Chinese stones moving and ends up behind the guard, so that's more like it. And importantly, yeah, that Latvian stone, as you can see, is right behind that Chinese guard. That's found just the perfect spot, and importantly, even though that Chinese stone just behind Chen Yanxin, that's the one that's still closest to the center, but it's behind the tee line. And it's wide open on that anti-clockwise handle. So that was a really nice throw from Paulina Rožkova. And hopefully that now gives Latvia a bit of a break. And they can come up with something a bit more special in this fifth end. Really grab themselves back into this game. But speaking of special stones, raise takeout for Wang Haitao. No problem for him. Picking out that Latvian stone. Really nice stuff.
Bet aiz tā droši vien nav... Давай сюда! Или к этому подъезжаем, или ставим туда.
Yeah, the best idea for Latvia is to try to replace their stone, just removed by China, and challenge Wang Haitao to do that same again. Difficult stone that Wang Haitao just made there. And Latvia's best chance of scoring 2 points here is to try to challenge him to do it again. And even if he does, then you will still have space to score 1.
3-0, 3-3.
Lai nepārkrīt.
Сереж, подожди. Если мы заедем сюда, да, прям на белое, они что будут? Они будут пытаться выбить наш, они же не пойдут сюда. А мы последним это уже выбьем. Давай так. Давай.
так кажется. Если мы зайдем за тот желтый, они, блядь, закроют этот.
Yeah, sometimes making a couple of tactical errors just surely because of
Нет,
bit
давай
of
за наш.
experience.
Но они закроют потом, скорее всего.
Они наш будут выбивать. А у тебя останется открытый
All this
камень.
discussion is using up a lot of time
Вот
for
и
Latvia.
опять, ты заедешь туда, ты ему даешь тот же самый промоушен ударить. Ну, не знаю, мне так кажется, потому что...
Again, no easy shots here for Latvia. They're points behind, and they need to set up some traps and try to get China to fall into those traps.
Слабенький, по-моему. Хотя ползет. Ну да, слабо.
That's not bad from Sergei Shevchenko. Important is that it's in the front rings.
你就正常往前露，然后打进去，对，露然后打进去。我刚才给研究
That's
这
a
点
stone
都
that
掉了。
Latvia can use again.
我刚才给研究这个
If
点。
that stone had slipped past T-line, then there's not much that Latvia could really do with it.
这儿。
And that's also good for fourth thrower Sergei Shevchenko. That's good for him to find his weight for a fourth throw. It looks likely he will have to throw a draw with his final shot. So he will know how that feels. He'll make the adjustment.
还是往后拽的。
Chen Yanxin nearly having to borrow some of the carpet to get the brush wide enough.
行啊，线路没问题啊。
And here comes the last stone for China
力量。
in this fifth end. One more stone coming for Latvia after that.
不行了，揉点了。
有点掉线了啊。
But this is a new path
力量还
for
行，
the
真
stone.
还行。
Maybe Chen Yanxin should have moved
再放
himself
点
onto
点
the
正好
carpet
就
there.
能进来。可以啊。
У тебя было чуть уже, было 10.
That Chinese stone not reaching the target. And Latvia does have an
Так
opportunity.
нормально?
We've seen Sergei Shevchenko. We've seen him play really nice T-weight with last stones before, and he needs another one just now. This looks really nice from him. He doesn't even need the backing. Super shot, sir, from Sergei Shevchenko. And hopefully that steadies the ship a bit for Latvia. That was much better from them in that fifth end. They were starting to get a little bit lost and overwhelmed in that fourth. But a few nice stones from them in that fifth end. They need to build on that. And important score of 1 for Latvia in the fifth end. And going into the sixth, the score is China leading Latvia 6 shots to 2.
这往远点，往远。
There's the overall game summary. China still outshooting Latvia, but an important score of 1 there on the board for Latvia, but China still leading Latvia. There's the overall scorecard. China leading Latvia 6 shots to 2 after 5 ends.
Laiks iet. Viņš tur vēl sēž. Sargs. Nu, beidzot, jā.
Ayaz Breed is on his way down to the throwing end. The Latvian thinking time clock has already started ticking, that red one on the scoreboard in the background. Both teams doing okay for time. But it is often these final ends of a game. That's when we see the teams really wanting to discuss options. That's when the discussions can start to get a bit longer. So always best to save time when you can. It is Latvia starting us off in the 6th end. And now Latvia do want to start playing towards the centre, just like China did beautifully in that 5th end. That's exactly what Latvia now want to start playing in the 6th. Is that stone going to make it into play? Oh, it isn't. That doesn't make it over the hog line, that thick red horizontal line. All of the stone must be over all of that line, and our volunteer there, we have a volunteer at either end managing the stones, and our volunteer at the throwing end here, they will clean the underside of the stone, just like you do in non-wheelchair curling. You always see the players cleaning the underside of the stone, and just to keep things moving along in the wheelchair game, you typically have a volunteer cleaning under the stones before moving the stone into position for the player. And then at the other end here, our volunteer managing the stones. That's just going to run through for China. That's not going to hang around, although it is still in play actually. All of the stone has to be over that thin back line for it to be out of play. And our volunteer at the other end, they are collecting up the stones that are not in play and removing them behind play so that they're not in anybody's way.
Первый не заехал, потом практически в пятак заехал. У меня вариантов там не было.
That's a tough job, I must say, if you are the stone cleaner at the wheelchair curling tournament. All that bending down to the stone, your legs really feel it the next day.
Whoa, 也不小。我。哦。
And a couple of uncharacteristic misses for Yan Zhou. She's been just overthrowing a few of her stones, and both of those running on too far. And Latvia still hanging on to this game. If Latvia can really capitalise on those mistakes from Yan Zhou, they have a chance to steal in this end. There we are, we have two guards out front. Both those guards protected still for one more stone. Actually, no, my mistake is China with the last stone, so that was stone number 5. And China can now start removing. But this is still wise play from Latvia to play towards the centre. Oh, he was very close to moving both of the guards there. And same show for Latvia. They can put up a second guard and just try to keep the guards a little bit far apart vertically. The closer the stones are together, the easier it is to remove them, to get a double takeout with one shot. And this is good strategy from Latvia. This is nice. The worst thing Latvia can do just now is overthrow a stone and either have a stone landing in the back of the rings or all the way through. having that double guard out front and good separation for those stones. Difficult for China to remove both of these guards in one throw. So this is setting up better for Latvia. They definitely have better shots in the fifth end, and they need to keep that up now in the sixth. See that good separation of the stones, meaning it's difficult for China to remove both guards at once. So yeah, keep doing that, Latvia. At some point, they will have to bring a stone into the house. They will have to get in behind the guard. But you don't need to just yet. China being very conservative with their tactics. China are +4, and even though they have last stone in the sixth end, and typically when you have last stone, you would like to try to make 2 points, so you would try to keep stones in play, keep things a bit more complicated. It's the sixth end in this game, and China doesn't need to make points at the moment. They're already +4 points. So they don't need to take risks, China, and that's why we just see them trying to remove the Latvian guards from play. It's the Latvian guards that are dangerous. And Latvia being a bit overcautious there. She was maybe conscious of not throwing that stone too close to the other guard, but there's our volunteer being kept quite busy this end, running to and fro. And that means only one guard now in play. But lucky you, Latvia. Chen Yanxin not able to peel that guard, so not able to remove that guard and roll away himself.
Yeah.
Latvia looking to get a stone in behind that Chinese shot. This one's over curling though. So the weight was okay actually. That's, yeah, just front ring weight there. But as you can see, not hidden in behind that guard. And that's a great shot from Chen Yanxin. He removes the Latvian stone, and that Chinese stone is now just hanging on right at the edge of the circles. That's really nice stuff from him now.
Сереж, по ощущениям минимум 2-7. Вот у тебя в ту сторону был 2-7.
Latvia have to score here. They cannot get too upset or too stressed about that Chinese stone hanging around. We have got 3 ends left, including this one. Yeah, Latvia, they have to play all out aggressive from here. It's possible in those 3 ends that they can grab this deficit back, but you will not get shots back by hitting, and they need to start making their shots. They need to start getting their draw shots, the aggressive shots, and not get too concerned about the Chinese stones lying around.
Отлично!
And Sergei Jachenko, he's had pretty good weight all game, actually. He's been facing a lot of difficult shots, but he's really found his weight quite nicely, and that's a good shot from him.
能过来吗？
能过来。哎，
啊，
拽弧旋打不行，挂前面。
哎，把打顶来。
对，
行，没事。来
9秒。
行，
行，
行吗？
行，
好，加油啊！
好。
China wondering whether to go for the guard, make sure that's removed safely, or whether to go for the short stone, the one nearest the centre. You can see probably about half of that stone from Sergei Shevchenko. He's looking a little bit concerned, but as you can see, his drawing accuracy not bad today.
行，少打一点点。
我
来了！好球！
But that stone not quite hidden well enough to hide from Wang Haitao. So this shot for Latvia, it's a little bit win or bust here. Important that Latvia would score something in this end, and their best chance to do so. He's just played it, Sergei Shevchenko, is to hide a stone fully behind that guard out front. And it's a bit do or die here.
Man arī liekas, ka viņš ir lēnāks.
Ko?
Man arī liekas, ka viņš ir lēnāks.
Liekas?
Liekas, ka ir lēnāks. Tūlīt redzēsim, ne? Viņš slīd vēl.
So this needs to keep curling. There's quite a nice curl now.
Nav paslēpties, vai ne?
Pretty similar to his first shot there from Sergei Shevchenko. Some tough shots for him today. But that was the right stone. It didn't really bring anything for Latvia. If they would remove either of those Chinese stones, unless they really got the perfect roll in behind that guard, the easiest way to get in behind that guard is the draw, as Shevchenko just played. And the most likely way to get a mistake from China was to get in behind that guard. So definitely the right shot. Latvia having to take risks now, running out of ends to let China get any more points. Chinese team rolling that stone down the ice, and he's made it perfectly again. And that is a big score of 3 for China. With their last stone in the 6th end. And in fact, Latvia deciding that China's too strong for them today, and congratulating China on the game there. And indeed, a very strong performance from China there. As you can see, a big score of 3 there in that 6th end, and that was enough to push the game over the line. China defeating Latvia 9 shots to 2. Coach's bench and the alternate pretty happy with that. And that means that China, they're still waiting for results in other games, but that means China will definitely finish 1st or 2nd in the round-robin standings. It depends on how other games go, but they will definitely be 1st or 2nd. And here's that final shot from Wang Haitao. China already qualified for semi-finals, and with that win, guaranteeing themselves 1st or 2nd place.
Good game.
There's confirmation. The final session here in the round-robin stage of the wheelchair curling event in Beijing, China, home nation, triumphing over Latvia 9 shots to 2. And how does that affect things? So China still top of the table at the moment, 2 games out there still on the ice, but China now on 8 wins, and the worst they can finish is in 2nd place. There's the overall game statistics. China, maybe not as accurate as in some of their games, but Latvia having a very tough time out there today. Their final game of this Paralympic Winter Games, a tough one for them, but plenty of good to take away from the Latvian performance here. Final session in this round-robin stage of the wheelchair curling here at the Paralympic Winter Games in Beijing. We've been watching Latvia in their very first Paralympic Winter Games playing host nation China, who were the gold medalists last time in 2018. And a tough ask for Latvia, but after a successful debut here in the Paralympic Winter Games, they finally lose that game to China, but finishing on a very respectable 4 wins out of 10. China, though, they already qualified for semi-finals before this game, and with that really strong performance, they are guaranteed 1st or 2nd place in the round-robin standings.